Quick revision video on the difference between relative molecular mass and relative formula mass. And the reason I've made this particular video is because students often get them confused and use relative molecular mass when they shouldn't. So hopefully this will clear things up for you. So what's the difference? The relative molecular mass, or RMM for short, we use that for simple covalent molecules. So things like hydrogen, nitrogen, water, carbon dioxide, butane, glucose. So there's just some examples of simple covalent molecules. So very simply, if you're wanting to work out the RMM of, let's say, butane, C4H10, it's 4 times 12 for those 4 carbons, plus 10 times 1 for those 10 hydrogens. So it's got a relative molecular mass of 58.0. Relative formula mass, on the other hand, RFM for short, is used for all substances. So things like simple covalent substances, giant covalent substances, and giant ionic substances. So we can use RFM for all of those. So basically where the confusion arises is students sometimes use the term RMM for giant covalent or giant ionic substances, which technically they shouldn't do. It's not the crime of the century, but technically it's not correct. So RFM is simply the relative mass for a formula unit, basically the formula as it's been written. So something like silicon dioxide, SiO2, that's a giant covalent substance, so its RFM, its relative formula mass, is 60.1, so that's from the 1 silicon and the 2 oxygens. Magnesium chloride is a giant ionic substance. Its RFM is 95.3 from the 1 magnesium and the 2 chlorines. H2O is a simple covalent substance, so we could say the RFM was 18.0 from the 2 hydrogens and the oxygen, or we could say its RMM was 18.0 because that's a simple covalent molecule. Whereas you'll notice with the first 2 substances, SiO2 and MgCl2, I haven't given the RMM option because we shouldn't use that term because they're not simple covalent molecules. So I hope that clears things up for you, and basically the top tip from me is to use relative formula mass for everything.